in the past 3 years. Obviously, we're doing something right. Make sense to you?
Is that some calling or something?
Yeah, no, that's calling me.
Calvin. Big Calvin.
Sorry.
No, it's good. Okay. So right now we have 6 days to put up 130,000 points. It seems huge, right? But it's really not. 130,000 divided by 6 days, about 22,000 points a day. Brendan just wrote 1,700. Tomorrow she'll write another 2. I might be writing about 2,400 today. Well, actually 1 app this afternoon, 1 more app tonight. I've got another 49. Actually, I take that back. I've got about 5,000 points I'll hit this week in a rollover, and I may be able to squeeze in another one that's about 50. What was it? 5,200 or so that may hit this week. But amongst all the base shops, it won't be a challenge if we focus on the right things. If we believe that this isn't that difficult to do, it just requires us to maintain a minimum amount of activity every day. Hold ourselves personally accountable to that. Believing we can get results and having an attitude that, look, our leadership deserves this. I'm not going to get into, I mean, if you want me to get into, I might as well get into it since I just said I'm going to get into it. Let's get into it while we're at it. I can't. Rusty, how much he deserves this. You know, Rusty's around the company known as one of the hardest working individuals. That's his reputation. Ooh, the battery's about to die in this. Is there a plug to plug it in?
Whose computer is that?
That's the computer that's
It's in the
from the
BPM room.
BPM
So you have to
room.
get the cord out of there. Power cord.
Thanks, Walsh. I remember when I first got started. This is funny. So let me take a step back and talk about Rusty and go back to me getting recruited into the business. I went through the filters in like 3 days, like the whole thing. I didn't know what the heck was going on. I was just naive enough to do what they told me to do, and results happened. Things happened. We got recruits. We were in the field. I did 9 field training appointments. I think we wrote business with 7 of them. We recruited 1 of them. I had other guests and one-on-ones that came down. We got a few handful of recruits, none of which did anything. And in my world, getting started, it wasn't hard. My first month licensed, I wrote 1 app with a buddy of mine that was like, I think it was 8,000 points. Did I know what I was doing? No. But I knew how to explain an IUL, the value of it. And my buddy's like, I want one of those. And so I wrote it up, had no idea what I was doing, came home, made $2,400, showed it to Brenda, and she's like, wow, that's pretty cool. Right? No clue what I was doing, but I was naive enough to listen and just move at the speed of instruction, and results followed. My attitude was, Jamie's pile of money is bigger than mine. If she tells me to do something, I'm going to do it. Now, I come from the mortgage world where my best year was close to 400 grand in income, and I spent about 401. When I got recruited here, I had 2 Audis. There was one of me. Don't ask. I have no idea why. I was an idiot when it came to money. And I didn't necessarily have close friends either. Not that I'm not a friendly guy, but most of my friends are back home in the Northeast. And I was in real estate. Very few real estate professionals hang out together. It's just not one of those lovey-dovey, touchy-feely kind of industries. It's like, I'm going to hug you and stick a knife right up in your back. Right? So I didn't hang with a lot of people, per se. And I say this because when I got started, my VUL application, I named Brenda as my beneficiary, and I hadn't even asked her to marry me yet. I was like waffling. I was such a wuss about how to propose. I was like, I'm going to do this. Total dork. Do the application, and I say, Brenda's my beneficiary, and Russ is like, okay, well, what's her relation to you? I'm like, she's my fiance? And it actually says that on the VUL application. I say that because a few months later, we set a date to get married, Rusty calls me up and says, hey, there's a special training going on tonight in Santa Monica. Bring a notebook. It's about 7:30. Come down. It's super special. It's only a handful of people that are going to go. Now, I'm coachable. I didn't ask, well, who is it? How long is it going to be? All I knew is my leadership, who has a financial vested interest in me, is telling me, hey, you've got a chance to go get some elite coaching on the west side. Come meet me at 7:30. So I go. I park at the 3rd Street Promenade parking garage, and I'm walking out with my notebook, right? I'm not wearing a tie, I'm in slacks and a dress shirt. And I'm walking to the address, and it's a Hooters.
Yeah.
Rusty threw me a surprise bachelor party. I mean, like, who does that? You know what I mean? I remember when we were running for SMD, he was working with our exchange leg, and we were doing everything we could to push them up so that they would be strong. And I was working outside their leg, and we had more than enough production. We had the recruiting, and I remember driving down, man, I don't remember the name of the street now, one of these streets in TO at like midnight. I'm calling Rusty with accountability. Because we're in the middle of a run, we're trying to get it done, you know? It was September. I remember calling like, hey man, I just finished up an appointment with Alex. We recruited his buddy Ronnie. We wrote up 2 apps, at 3,500 points. And Rusty's on the other line. Oh man, that's awesome. I was just out with Brianna. We got a recruit. We wrote an app. And I pull up to the light, and I see what he used to drive a white Lincoln. You guys remember that? I see a white Lincoln pull up on the other side, the opposite side of the intersection, and there's a dude on his phone. And I'm like, dude, is that you right there? And he's looking at us, and he's like, ah! It was the most ridiculous thing ever. But I'm like, that's my leader. He's fighting for me. You know what I mean? Needless to say, in my eyes, he and Bridget deserve our best efforts. That's just my attitude because of the conditioning I had watching him work his ass off for us. So, I'll never forget being in a BPM where Bridget sat next to me, and she's like, I wish we had a whole team of people like you. And I didn't understand what she meant. I thought she was just saying it to be nice. Like, oh yeah, thank you, that's cute. I had no idea what she meant until I started recruiting people, and no one did squat. And only then did I realize what she was talking about. Man, you just moved, you did what we said do this, and you did it. Rusty freaking calls me Friday. Hey, we got a special meeting tonight at 7:30 at 7. I didn't ask why. I just went. And it was a bachelor party.
Best meeting of your life.
It was so ridiculous. Earl was there. It was so ridiculous. I mean, I just cracked up. I'm like, wow, to think someone would do that. When people, we should do that, they never do it. Right? He did it. Anyhow, going back to BBC and why it's so important for you. I'm going to ask you questions. This sounds so selfish, but how many of you guys would like to have someone like me in your team? I don't say it to toot my own horn. I say that because that's how you're going to find us. Rusty didn't build me. The system recruited me for him. And the system built me and our business. Rusty helped. He was there for counsel and questions and course correction and love, all that stuff. But the system did that for us. And this is the point. If you want to find more people like us, you've got to submit to the fact that that's the only way you're going to get them. You're not going to build someone who's not a leader into one. They have to do that. All you can do is put them in an environment where it's okay to still need work. Does that make sense? You take them to a big event and they hear from someone who says, man, I started at the bottom, now I'm here, and I had all this crap going on, but I overcame it because I heard from this one and that one and the other one. I thought, if they can do it, I can do it. Now they grow into a leader. It's not your responsibility to make everyone a leader, because not everyone is. It's your responsibility to run the system to find them. The system is designed to find leaders, and you help build it, leveraging the system. So, going back to this idea, I'm going to show you very simply, bless you. I'm going to show you very simply here some math on how you can go ahead and earn a six-figure income passively, overriding your base shop as an SMB, not a super base. We're not going to talk about massive blowing out, promoting SMBs. That is going to happen. That's inevitable, by the way. As you're starting to get to know me, I have a lot of movie references. That's just how I analogize things in my head. You guys ever see The Terminator? Yeah. Okay. Sean Villalobos said this once, and it made me laugh. He said, literally, I could drive up to Rusty's house at 4:30 in the morning, jump on the hood of my car, lay on the horn, right, and moon him and Bridget, and he's still going to go out and write 40,000 points that month, get double-digit recruiting, and we're going to override the whole thing. I can't make him stop. Does that make sense? See, once you build a big base shop and you run the system runs your business, and it doesn't stop. That's what Babs is all about. That's why we were laughing about it. Barbara Streisand, that whole thing, it won't stop, like the Terminator. If you remember in the Terminator, there's a scene where he's being interrogated in the police department, and they think he's all nuts. And it's like, you don't understand. It won't stop. It can't stop until it finds her, and then it's gonna kill her. And and she's watching him freak out, and they're like, stop it. She's, anybody know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I'm just remembering this. I'm like reliving it right now. I get my gargoyles on. But that's your business. You build a big ass base shop. You focus on double-digit recruiting. It won't stop. Our guys there's 25 people in an elite circle class right now. I'm not there. I don't have to be. It won't stop. Isn't that what you want? And you override it. Isn't that what you're looking for? So you can go do what you want to do. Be who you want to be. That was actually the intro of In Living Color right there. Sorry.
Do you tell your team that they have to get to the chocolate?
Yes, actually, it's funny you say that, Daniel, because one of our guys, Rob Chiratola, owns a beautiful house that was built in 1760 up in just outside of Albany. Beautiful place. And the local supermarket is called the Price Chopper. So when you got to go food shopping, you got to get to the chopper. And of course, I'm the one to say it. I'm like, dude, we got to go get some groceries. Get to the chopper. And they're like, what? I'm like, look, it's the Price Chopper. I'm driving off the road.
We were joking about this the other day. Kept repeating it to her.
That's it, man. Get to the chopper. Anyway, you started on him. He was our governor once, man. That's crazy. We spend too much time focusing on results, and what we end up actually saying is, I don't have them. I want results. What you're listening is, I don't have results. Versus starting with the belief of abundance. That, man, I'm going to have a great life. I'm going to build a huge business. I'm going to grow a big base shop by focusing on the right things and attracting the right people. We have the 7 key leaders in place on our team for financial independence. That's one of my affirmations. I say this to myself every day. And so I'm conditioning myself to have the right attitude. You have the right attitude, you're going to do the right things. You do the right things, you get the right results. We've written so far this month 13,000 points, 11,000 of it is internal consumption. I didn't go out field training. I sat at my desk and someone dropped their stuff and they're like, can you fix this? Don't you want your clients coming to you? Wouldn't you rather they come to you versus you chasing them around? That's what the system does. So, how many of you guys believe you can get a result? Meaning you can pick up the phone and someone will say, yes, I'll come to you. Right? This is where we've got to focus. I believe I've got something good to offer someone. So when I pick up the phone, I'm excited. Because I'm thinking in my head, they're the luckiest person in the world right now. By the way, Greg Kapp put that on a Post-it note and stuck it on his phone. So every time he made a call, he said, this is the luckiest person in the world right now. The person I'm calling is the luckiest person in the world right now. So, let's have a conversation now that we understand this, if we have the right beliefs to start with, we'll have then the better attitude, which is going to create the right behaviors. Let's talk about the right behaviors. So, let me open this up here. So I want to show you something. In my office, we do the fire marshal drill. Fire marshal drill? Let me show you something! Three of you get what we're talking about?
SNL.
No, it's
in living color.
In Living Color. That was Jim Carrey before he was Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Yep.
Love him.
Jim Carrey started on In Living Color. No one knew. Oh, I was like, go pick up more BFS books. Awesome. All right, so let's first start off and answer the question, what are you looking at? You are looking at the simplest way for you to understand how to make a six-figure override, passive income override on your base shop. But let's answer one question. Do you have a base shop if you're not an SMD?
Yeah.
No.
If you are not an SMD, you do not have a base shop. You are part of someone else's base shop. So that's the first question. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's like living in mommy and daddy's house. You have your room, but it's not your room. If they say, hey, we want to go buy a whole bunch of birds and put them in your room so you're going to go sleep in the basement, it's not your room. You don't pay the mortgage. They do. It's mommy and daddy's house. Right? So if you're not an SMD, you're inside someone else's base shop. Okay? This assumes you are an SMD. And by the way, it goes like this. 10, 20, 30, SMD, ring. 10, 20, 30, SMD, ring. 10, 20, 30, SMD, ring. Say it any way you want. That's all crazy. All right. So let's first start off with some assumptions here. So you are an SMD.
Are you going to
That's
share this with us, or do you
What?
have to, are you going to be able to share
yeah.
this?
I think I emailed it to you already.
Oh, no, I didn't, I saw I got something, I didn't.
I forwarded it to you and Daniel and Earl.
Thank you. I'll share it.
So first assumption, you are an SMD. Right? It's actually the zero with first name, whatever. Not number one, it's number zero.
Can you
Assumption.
make
You're an
this
SMD.
bigger?
Huh? I don't know. Can we? I have no
I
idea.
think so.
You can't buy all of
I,
it.
if,
You won't
if
be,
you-
you won't be able to see the whole thing.
No?
Just
I
focus
can
on
just
that.
do this.
A little bit. Can't see anything.
That's fine. Okay. So let's look down here.
Everybody wants to move up closer.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm chewing gum too, so my breath ain't that bad. First assumption is you have a 20% spread. 20% spread. Your base contract as an SMD is how much? Oh crap, don't answer that question because you're in California. Your base contract is 65%. Right? The next contract below you is MD, which is 50% in New York. But your associate contract's 35%, which is technically what it is in California, but they're paying the other 26% more, so that's what they get the 81% SMD contract. It's still really 65, but they just, if you ever look at the comp guidelines, you see it shows the 81 for T-Plick or whatever it is called.
Yeah. Do you make less money in New York? Oh, I mean, do you know what the reason is, or just?
Oh, it's because Albany is in the pocket of MetLife and New York Life. That's why
All
Frank
over-
Sinatra said, if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere.
So anywhere in New York or New Jersey, you get paid?
No, just New York, not New Jersey. Just New York. Only New York. So you guys, let me give you an example. On an IUL, you get paid 126% of target. So if target's $200 a month, that's $2,400 for the year. You're getting 3,000 points. We're getting 2,376, right, in New York. But whatever. I'm like, I don't care. I'm going to go recruit the world anyway, so we'll make that up. But the point of this is 20% spread on average between you and your MDs and you and your associates. Make sense? So you're not going to override everybody by 20%. You're going to override some by 15, some by 30. Make sense? So just call it 20% override, 20% spread. And in this assumption, we're not doing anything personal, which, by the way, in Monty's words, that would be dumb. That's a poor example of leadership. Hey, you go do it. I'm going to kick back. Not a good idea. Average sales 2,000 points. So if the average sale is 2,000 points at a 20% override, you're making $400 per sale. Okay? Moving along. Each licensed associate generates 1 sale a month. Now that doesn't mean an associate contract, it just means each licensed person generates 1 sale a month. So you get 1 sale per licensed individual. Is that realistic?
Yes.
Absolutely not. You know why? Here's why. 80% of your production comes from 20% of your people. So you're going to get a whole bunch of people who do nothing, and then you're going to get a handful of people who do a lot. Does that make sense? So you spread it out on average, you get one, all it's asking is you get 1 per license. It's the 80-20 rule. All right, 1 sale per licensed associate. Well, 25% of your recruits get licensed. Let's say you have a 25% licensing ratio. So you recruit 100 people, you'll get 25 licenses. All right? 1 out of 4 hiring interviews submit an AMA. So again, back it up a second. Each recruit, you get 1 sale per month per licensed associate. 1 out of 4 recruits get licensed. 1 out of 4 hiring interviews becomes a recruit. You following along here? We're moving this back we're reverse engineering this back to the beginning. I'll do it again backwards so you can maybe understand a little bit better. Half of your BPM guests set up a hiring interview. And then 1/3 of the people invited actually show. Those are your assumptions. I'm going to do it backwards so maybe you'll understand a little bit better. So let's start with your captain's list. We know 10, 3, 1, correct? So 1/3 of your guests showed a BPM. Are we all on the same page right now? 1/3 show. Half of your guests set up a hiring interview. 1/4 of the hiring interviews get a code number. 1/4 of your recruits that are coded become licensed, and you average 1 sale a month per license. That sale averages 2,000 points. Your override is 20%, which means you're making $400 per sale. Make sense? Everybody clear?
Yes.
Those are the assumptions that we're working off of. So here's how this works. If those are our assumptions, you tell me, how much do you want to make in override income off of your base shop? Give me a number. 250,000. Sounds great. Thank you.
250,000 a month?
A year. I want to make $250,000 override income from the base shop. You know what's funny right now? If Rusty was here, he'd be loving this because he loves Excel.
Yeah, he does.
He's like addicted to Excel.
He actually has this. If I'm not mistaken, I got this from him years ago. So let's think about this now. If I want to make $250K override income, just overrides. I'm not writing squat. Remember, that's the no personal sales, which is dumb. Not my words, it's Monty's. That means if I'm averaging $400 per sale and I want to make $250,000, I have to divide $250,000 by 400, which boils down to 625 sales that year. Right? I'm averaging 1 sale a month per licensed associate, which means I need to have 52 licensed associates. Make sense? Mm-hmm. In order for me to have 52 licensed associates, if I'm licensing 1/4 of my recruits, I need to have 208 recruits that year.
Not direct, though.
No, remember, just base shop. In order for me to have 208 recruits that year, I need to have 416 hiring interviews, because half of the hiring interviews submit an AMA. In order for me to have 416 hiring interviews that year, I need to have 833 guests to the BPM that year. In order for me to have 833 guests at the BPM that year, I need 2,500 invites that year. You're like, that seems like a lot. Well, let's break it down like Rich James. Oh, break it down. Come on, laugh, guys. It's not that. Tired. At least I'm entertaining myself. If I'm having fun, we're all having fun. So you need 2,500 invites, which means you need to make 2,500 phone calls, which means you need 2,500 referrals or 100 new top 25s. That means you're inviting 208 people per month. You have 8 BPMs a month. What's 208 divided by 8? I don't know. It says it right here.
2.5.
24-ish, something like that. 26-ish. So each week, that means you would need to have 48 invites to the BPMs. Not each BPM, over the week. That means you need 24, you need to be filled up one captain's list each
Month.
BPM. No, each BPM.
48 a week.
Correct.
Two, okay, for 2.
There's 2 BPMs a week.
Right.
You need 48 invites. There's 25 names on a captain's list. You need 2 captain's lists filled up per week. Can't be the same 25 people though. That don't work. Right?
Damn it.
Oh, man. But let's boil this down to the day. What this means is each day on your team, all there needs to be is 7 invites made every day. Every day. Now, by the way, it doesn't just have to be BPM. It could be one-on-ones. How many of you guys think between, let me ask you this. How many of you guys have a team with at least 7 people active right now? And by the way, you're an SMD. There's how you're going to make a $250,000 override income. Just by focusing on one simple thing. Fill out the captain's list. Max out the heartbeat of your business, which is the BPM. By the way, don't you all have other things going on in your life, like those, and jobs, and church responsibilities? All that kind of stuff we have. So what's easier? Putting 25 people in a room once a week, or going to see 25 people 25 different times? It is a question.
BPM.
BPM, right? You start driving, I'm not saying physically driving, but you start driving the BPM. All of a sudden now, it's the simplest thing for your newest person to do. We just recruited a guy. His name is Pete Dembeck. Pete is awesome. When you meet him, you're like, that guy's like Peter. He looks like Peter Griffin. He is awesome. You just want to hug him. You just want to love on the guy. Let me tell you his story here. Pete worked as a supermarket manager for 34 years. Pete gets laid off when his supermarket closes. There's a supermarket called Wallbounds, or A&P. Pete's pissed off. Pete feels like he's been lied to. Go to school, get a degree, get a good job with a good company, you'll be okay. Nope. Pete's 50-something, close to 60, not happy. Pete gets a call from his buddy, Fred. Fred calls Pete and says, "Hey, Pete, I'm working with a company called Revolutionary Financial Management. I'm not making this up. We have meetings Tuesday and Saturday." And I'm on the opposite side of the wall like, "Ah!" Pete shows up. Why? Because Fred has a ton of credibility. Pete gets started 2 weeks ago. Gets started on a Wednesday. So he comes to Tuesday BPM, comes back Wednesday, he came to a Saturday BPM, Tuesday morning was his HI, submit the AMA, comes back Tuesday night, goes to orientation, comes back Wednesday, do his FLS, get started on his list, at when we're getting his FLS, I book him 3 one-on-ones and 2 one-on-ones and a BPM guest. He calls up his buddies in Florida. He starts going bonkers. And Pete don't know squat about nothing. Pete's just excited. And if I could show you all the stuff that Pete's been writing on the Line app, because he's part of something. He feels there's something moving and he doesn't want to miss out. And so, Pete sees nothing but recruiting happening, people showing up to BPM. So what does he think?
That's the norm.
I'm going to do the same thing. So he texted me this, but it was funny because I'm going through all online messages, and he was saying how he doesn't want to shortcut his way to fast start school. Or he said, he's like, oh my gosh, he's like, this is one of Pete's messages right here. It's like Encyclopedia Britannica. Like he's all fired up. So he's like, so thanks again to Brian and Brenda for inviting us on this journey. Pete, wow, I hit a chord. He mentioned the song and then someone else wrote the lyrics to the song and it was like, whatever. So Pete says, can I parlay that into being automatically placed in a fast start school? Please say no, because I'm enjoying every step I must take before I start to run. Gonna need new sneakers because I'm burning up the ones I wear. I scheduled my test today and I have another invite for BPM on Saturday. The dude is not even 2 weeks into the business, right? This will happen if you first commit to this, because this only works if you are an SMD, right? But once you become an SMD, remember Jamie said this morning, your goal is not to be an SMD. Your goal is to override SMDs. So let me show you something, and then we're done. And we can go out to Ventura. You guys can rock and roll. And listen, I know this is a championship level team. The people we have, not just in this room, but inside this entire organization, plenty good enough to compete with any other super base and the entire hierarchy. All that's required is you guys make a decision that you stop playing small. Stop playing small. This business is way bigger, and it will provide you way more happiness, way more fulfillment, way more fun, much more joy if you just allow it to. But it doesn't happen if it's just you. You gotta have people. So let me show you something. Or I should say, let me show you something. Sorry. All right. So to be an EVC, what are the guidelines? Can you tell me?
Is it a 9